we created a school that was a children's school rather than a school that the children had to fit into. It was a school that was patterned after Summerhill, but we didn't know that it was being patterned after Summerhill. It was until later when we found out that one of our teachers, Lenny Katz, had been over to visit Summerhill. Start with.
I think it's about teachers and people shaping a school. And it didn't really matter whether it was in Claremont or not. It's what kind of environment got created. It's kind of the Summerhill concept. Hardly knew Lenny. You know, Lenny was like a predecessor. He wasn't there while I was there. But I heard of Lenny Katz, and I've read his paper about the environment of playgrounds and the environment of a school and the environment of a classroom and how does it create this well-being and the ownership. So I didn't really know Lenny. You know, I knew his name and his reputation. I don't even know if we ever physically crossed paths.
The plays that I did several plays with the kids. That was something truly memorable because it was this extraordinary collaborative effort. They were composed, directed by the entire group, and it was amazing the productions that we were able to do, and just completely a creative energy. And we put them on for the school, and they were always quite a hit. So that was a lot of fun doing that. The kids were truly amazing. I really their energy was contagious and inspirational. So I got a lot from that.
Believe it. Sycamore School had a profound impact on my life, and most importantly, the teachers. The teachers had a profound impact on my life, and it lives with me today. I am who I am because of my experiences at Sycamore School. I feel so blessed to have had the experience to come to a school like this because a lot of my friends are still from Sycamore. My family, you know, we were very, very involved in the school and the teachers and activities, and it was such a great education way outside the classroom. You know, it was life experiences, and I just feel forever grateful. It's wonderful. It makes up who I am today, and I loved Sycamore School. We had the greatest experiences here, and one teacher in particular was our Mr. Holland's Opus, and his name's Lenny Katz, and he's here today in the overalls. And he was our teacher 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and he just was one of the most creative, gregarious, wonderful human beings ever, and that, you know, that we got to express our gratitude to him. And he, you know, him seeing us as adults now and how much we loved him and appreciated him, he's blown away. You know, we had lunch with him earlier, and he just can't believe that he had such an impact on us, but he did, you know, it impacted our lives.
And the plays that we did in Lenny Katz's class, how we were able to, again, somehow write the whole plot, assign the characters, the casting, and then direct it and act it and produce it, and they were just amazing things, and I was so proud to be part of that as a child.
The best memory for me is the play that we did in Lenny Katz's class. It was called Time and Again, and I'm not positive, but I think we took several months brainstorming it and writing it, and finally producing it and putting it on, and we had help from older siblings who were in high school making costumes and doing hair and all sorts of things. There were times when I realized that because of my Sycamore experience, I was able to come to solutions that other people didn't get to because I was taught critical thinking and how to come from something that might be very analytical. I came at it very creatively. And in not such great times, because sometimes it wasn't such a great thing to be from Sycamore because we were so different. And I have come to completely value my time at Sycamore, knowing that it's really formed me and made me this sort of unique individual. So,
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It was such an amazing experience. I was in a class with Lenny Katz as the teacher, and we didn't have desks in our room, we had forts. And we would get together with a group of friends and he let us do whatever we wanted. And there were 2-story forts and forts against the wall that you crawl into, or all different kinds of things. We could be as creative and colorful as we wanted to. And it was very, very individual. We felt like we were allowed to be creative and artistic. And through my whole life, I felt like that really stayed in my heart. It makes me emotional, but it stayed in my heart because it gave me the foundation to be myself.
Yeah.
And to not feel like I had to be like everybody else. And that stayed with me to this day, and I'm 45, and I teach that to my own children too.
Yeah.
So
An excellent
that was
lesson.
really deep experience. It's a wonderful place. I remember doing activities like tie-dyeing t-shirts and making homemade ice cream and playing Danish rounders, a game that I had never found any other kid at any other school that ever heard of it. It's a really neat game.
It laid down a complete path for me to discover it. I've always been a late bloomer, about 10 to 15 years later, and everything is a foundation that I realized when people were talking today. I thought, what am I going to talk about? Because I must have been on cloud 210, because I don't remember all this stuff. I don't remember the teaching style. I just remember the feelings that I had back then. So to hear it put into words that are so concrete about our how we learned and how we had that acceptance and how wonderful all the teaching was, with Terry, that it really laid a foundation for me to become what I am now and overcome all those fears that I had back then. There was no way to tackle it then, but as adults, I've come a long way in a field that's very risky as well, in terms of I'm in the performing arts, and there is no, you got to just do your thing and have complete confidence, and I think this room brings that back to me.
Had you done plays when you were here?
I was in the chorus, which is okay. I'm all right with that. I looked at them. I know, I'm so sorry. I was like, I took the whipping chick because I looked at those pictures and I saw some of what I did. I'm like, God, my leg was so bent and I didn't point my toe, and what's wrong with my posture? And there I am in the chorus. I couldn't even stick out then. And I'm telling you, this has brought up a lot of stuff for me. So I was very critical of looking at those pictures. I could have put in my toe. I could have. I can now.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this has been fun.
It's been a journey. It's like a year of cleaning out the cobwebs for me. I didn't know how many were there. So it's been really self-healing in a way. Just coming to know that little girl again.
Oh,
and having the freedom to hear all these beautiful people talk about it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you, Terry, for everything you gave me and what I was able to blossom into, because I know it was this place that gave me the strength to do what I do now. And because of what I do, I can touch a lot of people and bring people up through my crap, through that insecurity, and let people really blossom in their unique sense and their unique soul. So thank you for that.
There'd be records that would be sitting inside of crates in room 1, and just picking up the records and discovering for the first time and playing them and talking about them with kids, and then years later coming back and rediscovering that same music again. That is, at the time, it was almost like we were pioneers at that time of what was cool musically, and that was a special memory for me, just because I've been in the music business for the last 20 years, and a lot of it has to do with the environment that Sycamore nourished me.
Having the arts present all around us, really good thing. Here's what's really amazing. We didn't have teachers who taught art as their specialty. We had classroom teachers who valued art as part of the curriculum. Do you remember doing tie-dye in our classrooms?
Of course.
And we all had our flags hanging from the ceilings. And, we all did these. We would create the optimal bedroom, or the perfect home, or the perfect pen, and everybody had their own way of designing it. And our couches were quilts of various fabrics that kids had sewed. It was happening amidst us. It wasn't separate from us. It was part of our environment. And I think that's, or all our name tags had special designs on them. That's what gave ownership to the room. It was our room.
I discovered that an aspect of teaching that I really adored was art, teaching art. And it was through the, teaching the language art stories, the creative writing and that kind of thing, and then the children would illustrate the stories, and I would always put them up around the room, and the parents on back to school nights and so forth would comment about it, and the children were so proud, and the pictures were up and framed and so forth. And that's what I enjoy, is seeing the children being successful at what they're doing. And that was one of the things that I enjoyed while I was here at Sycamore too, because paying attention to each child and being sure that they felt cared for and so forth was kind of a natural thing for me. I don't know that I was the very best instructional teacher in terms of sequential learning, that you learn this and then you learn that and this and that and so forth. But I do know that one of the things that I was able to give and receive here at Sycamore was the whole thing of helping children feel good about themselves. And that was a valuable thing for me.
And in 1989, I volunteered when I found out that the centennial was coming to chair a centennial committee. And so a group of interested folks gathered together, and we, along with M.L. Stafford, who became the co-chair of the Sycamore Centennial Committee, planned for a year in advance 4 major events plus a fundraiser. Mm-hmm. And the 4 major events were, first of all, we did a sound and light show out here among the sycamore trees, in which we had 4 narrators and lights on the trees and events occurring all through the 100 years. We had dancers, we had readers, we had a number of things going on, and it was in the evening, and that was the first major event of the year. Later on that year, early 1990 now, we had an art festival, which my wife headed up with some other folks, and that was to gather art from children for several months, and then to have a presentation on a special open house occasion. And at that time also we had an octet playing of kids who had been Sycamore graduates. So they got together and played as background music while we went through the event of looking at all the art. The next event was a homecoming. People were invited to come back who were different people who were classmates here or who were teachers. And we had a huge gathering and people said, hello, how are you? And we took a picture from way up in the air. A fire department came and somebody shot a camera down of all the people gathered out here. And so once again, it was a thing we thought would be kept for history. The final event was to be creating a float for the 4th of July parade in the year 1990. And as a part of that event, I dressed as the first principal of the school. And at the Speakers Bureau, which is a common theme or a thing at the 4th of July parade, I spoke as Dr. Herbert Patton and gave in 7 minutes a synopsis of the history of the school's origins at that time. And that concluded with us being on a float in the parade.
Go, go, Terry, there was quite a fuss, then a movie clear cut. There was one thing they could see, don't mess with Terry, but Terry NEISLER, Terry NEISLER. Terry taught with kindness and creativity. Go, Terry, go, go, Terry. He taught self-respect and individuality. Go, Terry, go, go, Terry.